Hello everyone and welcome to a soulless attempt to piggyback on the success of my most popular video with this follow-up about the Old Hunters expansion bosses. Given that there are only 5 of them in this DLC, expect to get pissed off at who I ranked the hardest a lot quicker than in my last entry. Before I start, I want to make one quick disclaimer that my decisions are based on how difficult the bosses are once you've more or less mastered their mechanics. Any prolonged struggling you may have had before you learned how to dodge that one attack, or how to maximize damage at a particular point, is become largely irrelevant once that bitch falls at your feet. Now let's begin. The easiest boss in the DLC is Maria. It's also the coolest fight, so I'm not knocking it. Do you watch anime? People say anime is all breasts and swords, but there's usually magic too. And magic is how this encounter feels. It's like you're participating in a scripted anime battle scene, so much so that I'm surprised it didn't take 3 episodes. Maria moves with wondrous amounts of fluidity and grace, and she doesn't even have big tits. She's the easiest boss because despite being way more stylistically terrific than a typical Hunter vs. Hunter encounter, she isn't any more difficult. Her attacks are cool but easily evaded, and parrying being a major weakness, she doesn't take bullets to the face very well. Maria's got 2 transformations she undergoes while you're in the process of sending her to a battered women's shelter. The first happens when she takes both her swords and stabs herself in the shoulders so she can attack with her blood like a fucking lunatic. During this phase, her attacks gain some reach and gross implications. The second transformation has her going all Goku, share your blood with me! But instead of creating the world's nastiest spirit bomb, her attacks gain some flames to complement the juice. You know how when you want to kill someone, so you light your blood on fire? We've all been there. I did my part to end this fight the way a true anime would have penned it, with both of us cleansing one another of this terrible nightmare. Adayam. The second easiest boss would have to be the Living Failures. Imagine if the Celestial Emissary was smaller, grayer, more troll than alien, with different attacks, and parryable, and an endless supply, and you've got this boss. This battle will really test your ability to kill a bunch of slow and clunky giants who swing their arms around like bored toddlers, and smash their heads into the ground like drunk toddlers, and shoot energy blasts from their hands like Saiyan toddlers. There are 4 or 5 failures on the screen at any given time, and though they can be individually killed, they all share a health bar that depletes the same no matter who you hit or how many times you put them back in the ground. Kill one, and another sprouts from the soil like weeds infesting an otherwise not very attractive garden to begin with. You can parry these guys, but their hulking stature and a slight incline surrounding the tree in the middle means a follow-up visceral attack isn't always gonna work right. You're better off starting your day with a morning jog around the garden, poking at whatever's nearby. Once you get the self-proclaimed failures at around a third of their health, they will occasionally all pause and stare up at the sky. And that's when my ROM PTSD kicks in. Oh, wouldn't you know it? Yes, there's fucking meteors. They always fall in the same direction, however, and can be dismissed by either taking cover opposite the fog wall or positioning yourself slightly more dangerously around the tree and letting nature acquire your burdens, as she has since the dawn of man. When all's said and done, murdering these monstrous abortions isn't too taxing. The third easiest boss is Lawrence, the first vicar, or the burning cleric beast, as he is called by every single person. What's in a name, anyway? At first glance, he appears to have all the same attacks as the cleric beast from the base game, but look a little deeper, and ooh, they're on fire. I will concede that this version is much harder to get hits on, because the explosions of flame that accompany every swipe and pound tend to clip any attempt at dodging forward. Dull as the initial concept may seem, though, about halfway through, the fight takes a strange turn. You know how sometimes when you get damaged enough in battle, your legs disappear and your torso starts spilling lava? The creators were like, what if halfway through the encounter we give the vicar molten irritable bowel syndrome? And then being Japanese, nobody batted an eye. This phase increases the pressure on the player significantly, as Lawrence will chase you down as quickly as a half-beast possibly can, spitting and bleeding magma the entire time. It's pretty difficult not to get hit during these sections, as you're either wading through liquid fire, getting liquid fire drooled on you, or being smacked about by a boss on its last legs, #puns. I advise taking advantage of the rally mechanic and tanking some weak hits to maximize your damage output per opening. Enough of that, and you'll kill the second half assuredly. The second hardest boss is the Orphan of Kos. Already a bunch of you just got really indignant. The Orphan of Kos is like those snotty snail dudes in shells you fought a bunch of previously, only he has a yo-yo weapon covered in bubbly uterus candy. He'll walk the dog straight up your asshole and then let it stop to piss in your anal cavity. If you've been having trouble against the Orphan and need a winning tactic, I've got one for you, but there's a lot to it, so you may want to write this down. The first thing you need to do is equip a gun in your left-hand slot, then, whenever he starts an attack, press the L2 button. He really can't handle it. I know I'm belittling the struggle, and trust me, I'm with you. I died like 9 times to that crusty horror. But once I embraced parrying, even the second phase of the boss just became cake. Just don't try to shoot him while he's doing that forward lunge attack, because unless your reaction time rivals that of a god, even though you'll stun him, his attack will still launch you right into the air. Try to stay close to him during the first phase, because his weapon apparently doubles as a used tampon storage facility, and if you're mid-range or further, he'll sometimes pull one out and sling it at you. The second half of this fight can be intimidating. The orphan will scream and grow floppy elephant ears, and that's when you know shit's about to go down. He'll make a habit of bounding up into the air and slamming upon you, attacks that are easily dodged and leave an opening for a hit or two. But he'll continue his ground combos too, and therein lies your chance to counterattack with well-timed bullets. Also, I didn't know until I accidentally pressed L2 while I was trying to dodge, but you can parry his charging attack too. Luck is power. The one attack you really need to watch out for, though, is telegraphed by the orphan pausing to scream up at the sky. This calls down a round of lightning that originates from the corpse of whatever gross sea creature he crawled out from under, and that lightning travels in waves across the map. Run towards the boss entrance when you see him shrieking and you'll be fine. Just make sure you kill the boss at some point, so that way he dies. And so leaves us with Ludwig, the hardest boss in the DLC, and so not cool to have been the first. Ludwig is an overgrown horse that likes to go clippity-clop all over your face. Ludwig is the biggest asshole in the DLC because he has the most attacks that do ridiculous amounts of damage. Whether he's charging at you or jumping in the air, getting caught by a full-body tackle or pounce is going to take 90% of your health, if not more. Ludwig's ground combos are best avoided by dodging forward, because like I always tell women in abusive relationships, he is less likely to hit you if you're underneath him. Once you think you've mastered the first half of the battle, though, the second half comes out to play, with a non-optional cutscene that doesn't always skip right away. If it's my 6th time trying to fuck this boss, I don't need a momentum cooldown watching Ludwig stare deeply into a sword for 30 seconds. I'm told that huge From Software fans shared an intense worldwide orgasm once Ludwig's second phase revealed Bloodborne's version of the Moonlight Greatsword, but rather than watch him oogle at it, I'd like to just kill him and take it. So the second half of this boss has Ludwig upright and swinging his Moonlight Greatsword, which can shoot arcane air slashes at you from afar. He's also got another one-shot attack now, disguised as a weak AoE blast. You get hit by that, and you're like, oh, well, that did no damage, until he slams his blade into the ground and sends tall, rippling pillars of magic in your direction that hit multiple times and are essentially guaranteed to kill you if you get caught in the middle. What's good to note is that hitting Ludwig enough times will automatically put him in visceral attack state eventually, but don't try to attack his head. That's not where you're meant to strike. No sir, Japanese From Software deems it mandatory for you to shove your fist right in his dick hole, although to be fair, that would probably be my weakness too. Once you destroy the boss, only his head will remain, as an NPC you can talk to. I don't know if he has a questline, but if you kill him you get the sword immediately, so I assume that's the ultimate goal of most people. Well, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe and stuff, and I will see you guys next time.